Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose, Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, and folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe helps to make the season bright. Tiny tots with their eyes all aglow will find it hard to sleep tonight. They know that Santa's on his way. He's loaded lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh, and every mother's child is gonna spy to see if reindeer really know how to fly. And so I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas to you.
It was a cold evening in December. On nights like this, I usually find comfort in the common grounds for socializing. I would never partake, but sitting with them in their presence, that is enough for me to feel the slight bit of sanctuary needed to survive. But this night was different. No one was unwinding, no imbibing. Other inhabitants were nowhere to be found. The authorities were gone. That feeling when the air is still and the normal soundscape has diminished, the slight and quiet hum of your thoughts turning about in your mind, I knew something was different. And just when I was about to run the perimeters of this hellhole to alert the proper authorities, I heard a gasp. Ooh. What was it? Was it a cry for help? A scream of agony from a fresh flesh wound? The passionate sound of lovers? I raced around the corner, nearly slipping from my incredible speed and lack of traction of these newly polished prison floors. I gained my balance back, and I slowly approached the room where I heard the mysterious exclamations. And lo and behold, I saw something I could never unsee. A thing of beauty that would be too much for the eyes of the average inmate. At the base, the other inmate staring blankly, as if this magnificent structure had sucked his existence right out. "Hey, Bud, are you okay?" I whispered, checking on him while trying to remain unseen by the authorities. And very slowly, he turned his head and said in what seemed like a love-stricken zombified murmur, "Woof." Bud was never the keenest of inhabitants, but it seemed as if this structure had sucked his existence right out. I looked at the structure again. I didn't blame him. This glorious splendor that stood before me had the beauty that punched the air right out of your lungs. Its tiny sporadic rays of light, like stars amongst the warm summer sky, imprisoned your existence like the death stare of Medusa. The aroma transported me back to the history of my people. Back when we roamed uncontrolled in the wilderness, it smelled of freedom. And it had balls. Hundreds and hundreds of balls. Balls of all different sizes and colors. Balls that were begging to be touched gently and I'm playing with furiously. I love playing with balls. And while I stood there trying to figure out how I could get my hands on all these balls, I knowingly found myself trapped, confined in its radiant majesty, just like Bud was. Just then, the authorities turned their heads and they said, "Ah, so you finally decided to join us. They said it with the same love-stricken, zombified murmur as Bud did. They, too, had that ludicrous smile that reached from ear to ear when they spoke. What was going on? What kind of power did this holiday structure possess? Why is everyone in such a peaceful, happy mood? And then the answer hit me. I was the only one lucky enough to not lose control to the structure. I was the only one able to still think clearly. I am the chosen one. There was only one answer, and it was simple. The holiday structure is so beautiful, and it must be annihilated. I thank my ancestors for giving me the strength to break free from this monstrosity. So I look up to make a plan of, oh, its beauty. All those twinkling lights and balls. All those balls I just want to grab. No! Even now, something as simple as a memory. All alone in the moonlight. And I'm transported and hypnotized. But not this time. So I start to climb the structure's base, passing by all these balls. No! I must continue climbing to the top. As I forge on, I notice that the core lessens in its stability the higher I got up. It's weakness. I knew there was a way to take this villain down. If I could get to the top, I could use my weight and athleticism to take the structure down. But then, all of a sudden, one of the adorable little balls goes flying off and crashing on the ground, exploding on impact. Immediately, the authorities escort Bud out of the room while the others clean up the debris. Why was this? Wait a second. All these balls, of course. Months ago, the authorities removed Bud's balls. We thought that they were monsters for taking them away, but in that instance, I realized it was not the authorities. It was that damned holiday structure. It probably went from prison to prison, stealing inmates' balls and putting them on display to ridicule and belittle us locked inside. But not today, you hellish demon! So I climbed to the top, and I shrieked, Bud, your balls! I've got your balls! I used all my strength to throw 2 balls out for Bud. Bud jumped for his balls, landing inside of the structure, his weight destroying more of its mocking decor and setting free all the balls from all the inmates all around the world. This heroic feat helped break the hypnotism the structure had over us. And as the mind control broke, I looked very hard at that structure. Don't you ever come around these parts again, or I will obliterate you like the arm of your favorite lazy boy. Oh, and if you wanted balls so badly, you could have just asked. I could give you plenty. Take that ball, bitch. And ever since then, the authorities have had me locked up here in solitary confinement. I mean, granted, all this happened like 30 minutes ago, but still. If that goddamn structure ever comes back here, it'll know it's coming.
So Grant and I have been together for almost a year. We met New Year's Eve 2014. It was at a party at John and Roger's house. I didn't really want to go. There's something about being the only single gay man in his 30s at a party full of couples. It's not appealing. But it was either that or spend the evening in my dumpy place alone, so Lord knows I've done that too many times. So I put on a pair of jeans and a festive shirt, and off I went. The party was like super full when I got there, and everybody was like 3 or 4 deep already. So I just slipped in and said my obligatory hays and headed to my spot. Now my spot is the standard corner at any house party. It's enough in the commotion so that people aren't bitching like, oh Todd, why weren't you there? But enough in the corner that you're not in the general mix. So I'm walking to my spot and I see this guy, this really handsome guy, and he's all by himself, but he's standing in my spot. So in my mind, I'm like, fuck it, Todd, like, that's your spot. Like, everybody knows that's your spot at Charlie Rogers' party. So I go. I stand next to the handsome guy. And after a second, he turns his head and says, nice shirt. And I'm like, excuse me? And he says, your shirt. It's perfectly imperfect. Perfectly imperfect. How gay is that? So, while handsome guy may be handsome and is definitely gay, which thank the Lord because I am drowning in breeders lately, he's standing in my spot and he's making fun of my shirt. Now, it's a stupid shirt, I get it, like, but it's festive and I wasn't trying to like impress anybody. I mean, I was expecting a party full of the usual suspects, not handsome strangers that I'd end up falling in love with. But that's precisely what happened. He mocked my shirt, and I made fun of his shoes, and we've been giving each other shit ever since. That's how I know that Grant's the one. Life is lighter. It's fun and funny. Grant taught me how to laugh more. But there are some things you just can't laugh off, and some things that require initiative. Some things like Grant. And that's where I come in. That's why I know that we're good for each other. Grant shows me how to laugh and relax, and I show him when things need to be more serious and grounded. So a couple months ago, we decided that things between us were good. Like, really good. Great, actually. So I decided to take the initiative and make the relationship more serious and suggested we go spend the holidays with his parents. Now, I lost my parents a long time ago, and I never really met Grant's parents before, and we've been together for a year, and I really wanted to move things forward with us. And meeting the parents, like, as any couple knows, it's one of those big steps. So, about a week ago, Christmas Eve, we're in the car, and Grant's acting weird the whole drive. And finally, he opens up and says that, well, yeah, his parents knew he'd never really come out to them, much less like brought a guy home. And before I can really like digest what he said or what I should do about it, we pull into their driveway. And he can see that I'm kind of freaking out. And he says, don't worry, my mother will love you. Just be like how you are with me and everything will be fine. And so I'm like, okay, great. So just go with the jokes and laugh everything off. And it's like he doesn't hear me. He just keeps going. And he's like, well, it's not so much my mom, it's more my dad. He's that like high school football, army general, always wanted to teach his son how to change the oil types and ended up with me. And all I can think is like, what the hell, Grant? Like, you couldn't have thought of an earlier time to tell me than like already in the driveway? But then I look out the window and I see Grant's parents standing on the porch. His mom screaming, welcome and Merry Christmas. Grant's mom is adorable, like she really is, but Sharon's one of those moms you kind of have to be ready for. So she comes running off the porch and just wraps herself around me and gives me the biggest hug. And in that moment, any nerves or anxiety I felt just vanished. I mean, it's as if she was saying, I know who you are, and I love you for it. Then I saw Grant's dad, Gary. And Gary had a face like he'd been in a porta potty that'd been sitting in the sun for a week after like at the state fair. And all that anxiety comes rushing back in. So Sharon shoos us into the house and says that she's been cooking all day, and look what she's made because she knew we were coming. And I'm trying to break the ice, and I'm like, oh, that looks amazing, Sharon, what is it? And then Gary cuts in. Fruit cake. She knew you ladies were coming, so she made a fruit cake. Yeah, so Sharon's still smiling and laughing giddily and suggests that we pour some drinks and get our bags upstairs to Grant's room. And then she asks Grant if he'd like a glass of white Zinfandel with his mother. And then Gary cuts in again and says, Todd, you drink that crap with Grant? And I don't really drink that much, period, but we're gonna like, hey, this is an opportunity to bond with Dad. So I'm like, no, I don't drink that shit. I'll just have what you're having. So he leaves with a frown. And I look at Grant, and I can tell he's thinking, who are you and what have you done with Todd? So Sharon takes us upstairs to Grant's old room, where the bunk beds he used to sleep on as a kid are. She explains that her and Gary always wanted to have another kid, but it wasn't in God's plans, and that's why the bunk beds. So for some reason, I think this is a good idea, like this is a good time to sort of lighten the mood with a joke. So I say, oh, I'll take the top, Grant, because I know you like bottom. Grant slicked me in the arm. I don't think Sharon got it, but then I turn and there's Gary, holding 2 glasses of white Zinfandel, a frown, and 2 glasses of what looks like pee. And he says, 2 glasses of white Zinfandel and 2 glasses of Highland Park 18-year single malt scotch for us men. And he hands me the glass and he says, I know you like top, but bottoms up. So the whole night is like this, me trying to make these jokes and just bombing miserably. And Gary's frown just hovering over my head. What didn't help was trying to like choke down Gary's 18-year-old pee all night. By dinner, I was so gone, I asked Sharon if she wanted to go basket shopping at the Wrinkle Room. She didn't know what I meant. She just said, oh yeah, I could use a new basket for my knitting. I haven't tried the Wrinkle Room yet. Could you tell me where it's located? The night was almost a disaster. I mean, it was our first Christmas together, and Grant's parents, and meeting him for the first time. I wanted to try to take the initiative. I just wanted everything to be perfect. But after all the scotch and hypermasculinity and mediocre fruitcake, after Sharon and General Gary had gone off to bed, I had a chance to breathe. Grant and I were alone, sitting in front of the tree by the fire, and I could tell that he wasn't happy with me. And I mean, how could he be? I was a walking joke all night. But I also knew that this was never gonna go perfectly. I mean, before I even said a word to him, Grant knew that I was imperfect. Perfectly imperfect, as a matter of fact. So what better time to do what I had planned to do than right now? I told Grant that I was sorry that I hadn't made today the best. And that I knew I wasn't perfect, but that hopefully he could love me anyway, because his imperfections are what I love most about him. And I told him that even though we'd had this disaster of a day, that I still knew that he was the one, and that it was time. And I told him that some things need a laugh and other things require action, and that while hopefully we can laugh about this crazy day in our future, I needed to take charge and ensure that our future was together. And so I asked him if he'd be willing to spend the rest of his perfectly imperfect life with me. And then Grant asked if I was actually proposing or just really drunk. And I said yes. I don't even think he really believed me until I put the ring on his finger. He cried and we embraced. And as I was holding him, I opened my eyes, and I saw Sharon and Gary standing in the doorframe. Sharon was crying and trying to hide her face, and me and Gary looked at each other. And his frown changed to a smirk, and then to a smile, and then he winked at me. My new, perfectly imperfect family.
City sidewalk, busy sidewalk, dressed in holiday style. In the air there's a feeling of Christmas. Children laughing, people passing, making smile after smile. And on every street corner you'll hear silver bells. Soon it will be Christmas Day.
Eight. Count them. 8 IEDs went off right in front of us. 3 on one side, 5 on the other. We'd left Baghdad and we're on a stretch of desert headed north towards Kirkuk. My squad's towards the front of the convoy, and I remember thinking, tonight's the first night of Hanukkah. I'm not a particularly religious guy. Last time I felt anything like God, I was actually in Israel at the wall. When I pressed my fingers against that stone, my fingertips felt electric. It was like I could feel every ridge of my fingerprints, like I could feel hundreds of other fingerprint ridges pressing back against mine. I hadn't been there in years. I don't know why I thought of Hanukkah. Maybe it's because I was looking west, and there's this baby fine sand everywhere, like Kansas had been covered in dust. And I remember thinking to myself, there's nothing but dust between here and home. So I think of Hanukkah, and bam, first IED goes off. I can't even describe how loud it is. It's like the world blows up, we duck down, and I'm ducked down in the back of the truck. And the sand that was so still the moment before flies up around us. And I feel something go past my ear, some piece of the road or something, and I hear the whip crack of it like a bullet. And I think, you missed me, son of a bitch. And that's when the second and third IEDs went off like a single stuttering bomb. The captain's yelling something from behind us, so I draw my weapon and I stand up and point it out at the noise, and I order the squad to fire. But there's nothing out there but desert. So I call them off almost as soon as I'd ordered them. A little further down, IEDs 4 and 5 go off. They're not as loud. And then 6, 7, and 8, columns of fire and smoke, and this dust that gets fucking everywhere. And then it's ringing, but silent. We don't move for hours. And then we're back at base, and in the mess, the guys talk about how weird it was. 8 IEDs going off and no one hurt. No one seems to understand how they all went off at the same time. But now all I can think about is miracles. The way one day's oil can burn for 8 nights. The way 8 IEDs can go off at a single time. Both times, miracles. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it. Maybe shit just happens. But now we're here and guys are Skyping with their wives and girlfriends, children, and I don't know what to say to my wife and daughter. I'm sitting here cleaning off dust and gunpowder, protecting them from this shit. And I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what to say. I just want to go home. Talk about baseball. Hear my daughter's report card. Just leave the miracles behind.
So that last piece means a lot to my sister Jules and I, because our father was in the military for 22 years, and there were a couple of Christmases where he wasn't able to be home. But his military service allowed a really great life for Julie and I, and we grew up in Hawaii. And one thing I can tell you is there is no place like Hawaii for Christmas.
It's true. And a lot of people think, well, how can you celebrate Christmas in a place that has no winter? Okay, so you guys went tobogganing and we went boogie boarding, but there was never a lack of holiday cheer. I think it was multiplied because we had the aloha spirit. So it's that spirit of aloha that we want to share with you tonight.
Is the thing to say on a bright Hawaiian Christmas day. That's the island greeting that's been sent to you from the land where palm trees sway. Here we know Christmas will be green and bright. The sun will shine all day and all the stars at night. Mele Kaliki Maka is Hawaii's way to say Merry Christmas to you. Mele Kaliki Maka, Mele Kaliki Maka, Mele Kaliki Maka, Kani Maina Pele Kani Mai o Mele Kaliki Maka Yahweh. Merry, Merry Christmas to you. Merry, Merry Christmas. Merry, Merry Christmas. Christmas bells are ringing, ringing all over the world. Merry, Merry Christmas to you. Here we know Christmas will be green and bright. The sun will shine all day and all the stars at night. Mele Kaliki Maka is Hawaii's way to say Merry Christmas. A very Merry Christmas to say Merry Christmas to you. Aloha!
I think you have the key in upside down. It's not going to turn on if the key is upside down.
Key's fine, Ethel. I know how to put the key in a car.
Then Why won't it turn on, Frank? I knew we should have gotten a new car with our tax return.
We don't need a new car. The car works fine. Had old Molly for over 20 years. She hasn't failed me yet.
If she's so fine, then why is she not starting?
Don't backtalk me, Ethel.
Oh, are you shitting me?
Here, try these.
Look at that.
What is it?
I was using the key to the Buick.
Oh, Christ, Frank.
Don't say it, Ethel.
We haven't had the Buick in so many years. Why do you still carry the key around for it?
You know I'll never get rid of that key.
Oh, yeah. Thank the Lord. Turn the heater on. My legs are starting to freeze.
Just wait till we get home. I'll warm those thighs right up.
After 60 years, Frank.
You know I still got it.
What? Yes, I'm still at the mall. Well, Carl, for Christmas Eve, some shitty elementary school decided to do some Christmas turd pageant. And the mall is a shitstorm. Yes, Carl, a shit hurricane, 100-mile-an-hour shit winds.
Wasn't Gloria just wonderful as wise man number 4?
Yep.
Yes, I'm in the car now.
Do not remember there being 4 of them.
The roads are really bad, so I will be home as soon as I possibly can.
Better wise man number 4 than that poor child that had to play the ass.
Well, Carl, if you hadn't forgotten the fucking stocking stuffers, I'd be home helping you out with the kids instead of at this conflagration of a parking lot.
Can you imagine, as a kid, being cast as the back end of the donkey costume? The ass of the ass.
I think I'd rather be cast as the ass of the ass than as Jesus Christ. Can you imagine the pressure on that child?
Yes, I'll be home soon.
All warmed up?
Oh, yeah, let's go.
Let's head home.
Yes, hopefully I'll see you soon. Because I have the fucking stocking stuffers now. You're welcome. Okay. You have them. Christmas is not ruined. Christmas is not ruined. You have the stocking shit gifts. You can go home.
What happened?
I don't know. It's not
Are you
fun.
shitting me? Go!
I don't want to sit here just...
Don't say it, Ethel. Don't even say it.
Okay.
Are you all right, dear? It looks like you took quite the spill.
Yeah, yes, I'm fine. Can you, move?
I'm sorry, but it looks like our vehicle's seen the last of its days right behind your car.
Car's fine. I can get it started in no time.
Oh, Jesus Christ in the goddamn manger. Okay.
I don't think the Lord Jesus can help us right now. What we need is a mechanic.
No mechanic is going to be open now, Ethel.
Okay, all right. How if I just help you push it out of the way?
Oh, you're an angel. Get out and help her push, Frank. Go, get out and help her push. What are you doing out here anyway on Christmas Eve? Don't you have a family?
You know I do, but my husband forgot the stocking stuffers, and so I'm here now.
Those gosh darn stuff.
Oh.
Franklin and I were here watching our granddaughter perform at the Christmas pageant.
Oh, yeah.
Frank.
Did you happen to see her? She was wise man number 4.
I
Hey, you okay?
did. Yeah, no, I
No, you really ought to wear some better shoes this time of year. Boots with traction.
Well,
Think the roots. Molly!
Hey, Frank, what about me?
you
just a little dent.
Oh gosh.
Well, now our car's really not going anywhere. All on account of your irresponsible choice in shoes.
Frank, don't start in on
Ethel, if she'd have worn better shoes, she wouldn't have slipped while helping Molly, whose rear end just got an accidental banging.
You know what? How about we just get in my car and I will drive you home and you can worry about Molly and her rear end tomorrow. All right, everybody in. Yes, now, lovely old people.
That's right, we haven't met. My name is Ethel, and this is my husband, Franklin.
Frank!
Lovely to meet. Where am I taking you?
20 minutes down the road there, towards Roland, Maine.
Okay, great. That's my direction, too. Shit. Oh, shit. Oh, God. Oh,
You
are you okay?
Jesus, son. Partaking in a little too much holiday spirit there?
Oh,
Hey.
no.
You're my teacher! Shakespeare studies! Look at that!
I just...
Teacher just hit me?
No, I
Teacher just hit on me?
Josh, what are you doing out here at this time?
What time? It's...
No, what are you doing out here?
We're at the mall.
Jesus, son!
Where are you staying, Josh?
Delta Sigma for life!
Okay, just get in the car. I'll take you home too. Oh my God! Why is this happening? Oh, okay, excuse me. Here, can you hold? Excuse me. Here. Okay. Now, Josh.
See.
You're staying at your fraternity house, yeah?
See.
Okay, I'll take you there first.
See.
And then Frank and Ethel, you're next.
It's so wonderful. You're being so nice to us. Just imagine if you hadn't forgotten those stocking stuffers, you wouldn't have the opportunity to help us.
Yes, we can all take those stocking stuffers. Hell of a night.
Just sitting in the shoddy with my teacher uses Shakespeare when she's trying to reach fools like me up in the classroom. But now we're sitting so close I can smell her perfume. You know who could flow so sick? Your boy, William Shakes.
Well, I am glad you got something out of my class, Josh.
Oh, dude, totally. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds in May. And summer's leaves all too short a day.
Wait a second. You're not drunk and quoting Sonnet 18 to me.
Oh yeah, I used Poem 18 to crush puss all semester. As long as men can breathe, eyes can see. So long as this gives life to thee.
Alright, son!
Hey man, just because there's a goalie doesn't mean you can't score.
How come you never use lines like that on me, Franklin?
Jesus, Ethel, how does that make any sort of sense? Working within the metaphor, I'm the goddamn goalie. You want me to score against me?
Okay, so all shit aside, Teach, I think you're really great. I mean, you taught me how some old gay dude who lived 1,000 years ago was cool. And now you're my TT.
Well, thank you, Josh.
But Miss Shakes, you should slow down. It's like nice.
I think it's you who needs to put on the brakes, Josh.
Quit spinning the car,
What
Teach.
are you talking about?
Slow down! Daniel is homeless, and schizophrenic, and loud. He comes into the store and reads. He reads anything. He loves coffee and hot chocolate, and sometimes he solicits enough money to get a small cup or two. Then he finds a corner of the bookstore and reads. Out loud. Generally, it's the Bible. As long as he keeps it down, his reading is no big deal. But on Christmas Eve, the night that I'm the closing manager, the night that I'm swamped by desperate people who have waited to the absolute last minute, the night that I'm juggling employees who are pretending to be sick and begging to be let off early, Daniel decides that the Bible is too pedestrian. He heads into the science section and pulls out a general anatomy book and turns, probably by accident, because I don't think that he understands everything he reads, he just likes to hear words out loud, to the section on female anatomy. It's 6:45 and we're closing at 7. I'm at the register dealing with a pre-Christmas return, thinking just 15 more minutes and I'm home free. And I hear from across 40 feet of retail space, the clitoris is a small erectile part of the female genitalia. Located at the interior of the vulva, it is incredibly sensitive, owing to the large amount of nerve endings located in the tissue. The clitoris has approximately 8,000 nerve endings, approximately double the number located in a male penis. Maybe it's just me, but the words clitoris, erectile, vulva, and penis ring very loud out over the hubbub of husbands buying last-minute presents for their wives, grandparents asking my salespeople for discounts, and children begging their parents for last-minute stocking stuffers. One of these children, in a voice nearly as loud as Daniel's, asks, "What's a clitoris?" His mother barely blinks and answers, "A small erectile part of female genitalia that you don't have to concern yourself with for another 18 years." I finish a return and she says that I should go stop the homeless man from reading out loud, as if I were just going to let Daniel continue his free anatomy lesson. I nod, smile, wish her a happy holiday, and then leave the front counter to the cashiers. It takes me a second to gather my calm as I approach him. This is my 10th day in a row. It's Christmas Eve and the store is nowhere near cleared out. Plus, me and my crew have to recover this godforsaken store before we can leave. And look, I might be a single guy, but my family takes Christmas very seriously. I have to be at my sister's by 8 and help put together an endless assembly line of shitty toys for her kids, and then I can sleep. I can't be at the store any longer than I'm scheduled. Anyway, I go over to him. Daniel, you have to stop reading. Put the book down and go outside. Remember, we don't have a problem with your reading as long as you're not a distraction. Right now, you're a distraction. Normally, I don't take the book from him, but tonight, I do. I take it from him, right out of his grimy hands, and I see the dirt caked around his fingernail bed. Daniel doesn't say anything. He rarely does unless it's from a book, gathers his things, and leaves. The store closes. We do a half-assed job of cleaning. The money gets counted and out the door we go. The whole process takes about 45 more minutes. When I step outside, it's snowing. Big, wet flakes. Streetlights are the only light in the parking lot, and the world is that strange, perfect quiet that happens when it snows. I shiver and think about my mom's warm kitchen across town and pull out my keys. I lock the store door, wave goodbye to my people, and head to my car when I notice a small movement near the store's column. At first, all I can make out is a pile of clothing, and then I realize it's Daniel, tucking up against the arches leading to a neighboring store, getting ready for the night. I have my hand on my car door handle. I'm leaving. I am. But I stop. I hesitate. It's the longest minute or minute and a half that I've ever had in my life. A million thoughts about myself, my family, how tired I am, how all I want to do is sleep in tomorrow morning. I'll slip away when I realize that Daniel will be there, under those arches, all night. Christmas fucking Eve. He could freeze. Hell, he would freeze. I leave my car and I go over to him. Come on, I tell him. He looks up at me and tells me the clitoris is a small, erectile part of the female genitalia. Yes, it is. Come on. He doesn't ask any questions, just gathers his things and follows me to my car. He fills the interior with the smell of campfires. There are 8,000 nerve endings in the clitoris, he says. The vagina itself has no nerve endings. With him talking and safe from the snow in my passenger seat, I drive home. And the falling snow looks like stars, guiding me, letting me know that I've done the right thing.
Sweetly singing all the praise, and the mountains in reply echo with their joyous strain. In excelsis Deo, in excelsis Deo.
I can't tell you how many letters we get every year. Millions. I got a whole department for these letters. You know how hard it is to read a second grader's handwriting? I got a whole department. And don't even get me started on the language barrier. These things cause all kinds of problems. Once, an elf, fluent in Portuguese, wound up with the Spanish piles. And then, there was the Chinese, Japanese, Korean incident of 1967. Kids were hitting bowling balls and asked for dolls. It's all messed up. I'd make 2 runs that night. You think it's impossible to make my first run? Try making 2 in one night. That's some bullshit. We do get a lot of letters via email now. First year we tried that, servers blew. Literally, they blew right up. Fortunately, fires don't last all that long at the North Pole, on account of all the snow. I have a terrific memory. I can still remember what little Linda Lowry requested for Christmas in 1952. A life board game. Seems like a request millions of other little girls would have made in the 50s, but she made it special because she was 12 and dying of leukemia. She said she wanted that board game so that she could say that once in her life, she'd been married and had kids, a family. She named those little blue and pink pegs Peter after her father, Joanna and Judy. Some kids just stick with you. And then there are the millions of difficult, nigh on impossible letters, like this one. Dear Santa, I don't believe in you anymore. As I'm sure you're aware, you being an all-knowing mythological figure. However, circumstances being what they are, I've determined that you are my best and only option. Sure knows how to build a guy's confidence. For all of this, I have but one request, and that is to bring my father home for Christmas. I know bringing him here will be a difficult task, but you perform miracles every year, if the rumors are true. It should be nothing to grab Dad, throw him in the sleigh, and drop him off here Christmas morning. Signed, Mindy. Now what the fuck am I supposed to do with that? My dad's been in Iraq for 6 months. His tour's not supposed to be up until July. Usually I let the tech department handle these things. Thank you, dear. You know I have former NSA people up here. I hired the ones with a conscience. Anyway, sometimes these impossible requests need a personal touch. I know David Barr from way back. He was one of the first kids to leave reindeer stacks along with cookies. Very thoughtful guy, with a pretty thoughtful daughter. So, let me see. See if I can get in here. Firewall my ass. Hi, Staff Sergeant David Barr. His battalion is set to leave in July. No leave scheduled till then. I think we can rearrange a couple of schedules here and here. Done. Mindy's a good girl. Her mother's Catholic and her father's Jewish. So things can get a little crazy there, I'm sure. But truth be told, I'm really non-denominational. Kind of have to be when you've seen as much time in the world as I have. So I handle all requests. Sometimes things just work out. Her dad won't get to ride in the sleigh. He'll be stuck on some transport plane that'll shake the brains right out of his skull. But he'll make it home. Tell you a little secret. The elves, they handle the simple things. Stuff like Barbies and Nerf guns. My real job is this. These impossible letters. I'm supposed to work the miracles. And I'm pretty damn good at it.